watch these fights, do some interviews, see how this goes.
Got a big screen right behind you. You can watch those.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good.
Big one coming up again.
Yeah. All my fights are big. All my fights are against ranked opponents. So, that's how I like it.
Talk a little bit about kind of what he brings to the table and what you've been working on. Building up to this.
Edmund is a young, a reckless, confident guy, and it's kind of funny because I remember being his age and being where he was at, and just having hype behind me. So I know what it feels like for him.
You had to get on a roll after the two setbacks. Last year was obviously a great year for you. Can you talk a little bit about being able to build on those two from last year, going forward and kind of, string some things together here?
Yeah, I think I got a solid situation. I switched my training up over the past year and a half at Hard Knocks down in Florida, and we have a good group of guys who trying to get each other better and come in the training room every day, and it's more of a team effort. So it's definitely been working out for me and working out in my fights also.
Second time in 2 years, fights here in North Carolina. What does it mean to bring it back here?
It's good. I've been lobbying for the UFC to come back to North Carolina for a long time. MMA is really getting really big in this area, so you got a lot of upcoming inspiring guys. I brought some guys from my team down in Wilmington at Brunson MMA and Fitness to come and get that experience, who want to be a fighter for their career long term. So it's good. Definitely have the UFC back here and get those guys that experience.
I have a non-MMA related question at all, but I just am kind of interested. Are you a Carolina Panthers football fan?
I am. I'm a Carolina guy. I'm born and raised in North Carolina, so I support all the teams: the Carolina Panthers, the Charlotte Hornets, everybody.
How do you feel about Cam Newton? Do you want to see him come back?
I do, but I think at this point it's kind of like I don't know, maybe salvageable at this point. He's been here for all those years, and I feel like he kind of felt underappreciated this year, but he did a lot for the team. He kind of put the team on his back. I remember when the team started out, when they were in South Carolina, and the games and the crowds wasn't as big, and he came and he brought a lot to the city. But I think maybe this year off, to see him back, I think he'll be a Cam of the past.
Now I can get back to MMA. Sorry, you're wearing the Bobcats jersey, and I got really interested because it's a fascinating topic to me. So you talked about trying to build on this 2019 is very successful for you. What does your 2019 look like if you're drawing it up? What's the perfect options for you? How often are you fighting? Do you think by the end of this year you can get to the title shot, or do you think it'll maybe take a little longer?
That's the goal. Get to that title shot. I haven't touched that yet, and I remember coming in this sport, every MMA journalist had me being top 5 or champion, and I heard a lot of people saying if I haven't reached that, then something went wrong. So I have some things I need to do in this sport. So that's why I switched up the training camps. I started getting away from my family for 4 to 5 weeks. It's very uncomfortable, but it's what's needed to compete out here. The UFC is no joke. People come out here and they come to get it. So you have to be ready for those type of fights and get with like-minded people. So I think this fight. It's kind of remind me of the Israel fight. You got a young guy with a lot of hype, undefeated. But then again, it reminds me of my last fight with Ian Heinisch. Darn near undefeated, 13-1. He had one blemish, but a lot of hype behind him. I kind of feel the same way. It's my job to go out here, do my thing, and rack up another one after this. And I think that'll put me right here at a title shot.
In terms of changing of the training and stuff like that, is it kind of a better late than never situation, and better to do it even now at this stage in your career than to never have done it at all? And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, things have to be done. You have to pull strings, and unfortunately, this sport is an unforgiving sport. You can be on top of the world, held a title for 2 years, 10 years, and you lose one fight, and then everybody like, hey, you suck. So you have to make changes on the fly, and you have to do what's best for you and your family, opposed to if somebody's not going to like it or if it's going to hurt their feelings.
What are your thoughts on kind of where the division sits right now? Obviously, Israel is going to be facing Yoel Romero. How do you feel about that fight, Romero getting that title shot, coming off a loss, and just sort of where he's been at? How do you feel about everything going on at the top of the division?
I think he should have earned. I think Israel, he wanted to fight him. He asked to fight him, but I think he should have made him earn it a little bit. Romero's a dangerous guy. In my opinion, I think Romero probably, I like him as the favorite in that fight. But Israel been going out here looking good, so who knows? He might come out here and show what he's been doing the past couple fights. But I just think it's a dangerous fight, and a guy who coming off 3 losses in a row, you got to make people earn it. So
Should you be able to do that as the champ and say, I don't care if this guy has consecutive losses, that's who I want to fight, and then the UFC should say, okay, then that's who you get to fight. If you were champ,
right.
would you go about it that way?
No, I don't think it should be like that, because then it gets to MMA is so great and everybody love it because nobody runs it per se. The fighters don't run it. Boxing, boxing lost its luster. People killed the whole sport because the boxers started running boxing. You wouldn't see the fights until people were way past their prime. Other people's opinions were. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I like having a ranking system and making it justified.
One last one from me. 2019 was a very good year for you. 2019 also saw a lot of middleweight contenders, former champions, make the move up to 205. Have you ever considered kind of bouncing around that weight class just because of the success kind of your compatriots at 185 had?
Yeah, I thought about it in the sauna. It's always in the sauna, when I'm cutting weight, I'm like, oh, this sucks. I got 2 pounds to go, I'm going to 205. I'm not fighting 85 again. But I like this weight class. Whenever I make weight calm down, I'm like, all right, it wasn't that bad. But I think this weight class suits me. I come from wrestling, so I'm used to cutting weight, and me in my best shape, focus, grinding. I think 185, is where I feel best at.
Thanks, man.
All right,
Appreciate it.
thank you guys.